Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sumit, and today I'm going to talk about a new topic in integration, and that is that how do we perform LWC integration by weather map. So you might have gone through my previous videos. There I have explained that how can we perform the integration with a weather map using Visual Force pages, then I demonstrated how do we integrate by using Aura components. And in today's video, I will be going to show you that how can we perform integration using LWC component with the help of name credentials and external credentials. So before we begin today's video, don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel. Also, don't forget to press the bell icon to get the updates with the latest videos. And if you really want to learn the integration things, don't forget to watch the video till end. So let's begin. So the topic for today is that how can we set up an integration with a weather map with a third-party API by using LWC components. So we'll be going to create a new LWC component in Salesforce. And with the help of that LWC component, we will be going to make a request to the third-party API in order to get the update about the city to current weather of the city and display the current weather with a proper image. So in order to do this, not only we have to create Apex class, but before that we need to create name credentials and external principals. So let's see how do we do that? How do we begin with this? So before this, let me show you that what API I will be going to use here. So let me share my screen and the API which the third party API which I will be going to use here today will be the weather API. I'm using a trial account, and as you can see, I created my account on today, and this is going to be expired by 11th of December. So till then, I can use this. And using this API, using this weather API, not only we can get the current weather, but we can forecast the weather as well. So for example, if I'll just show you the documentation, so here we can request for current weather, we can make a forecast, we can search or autocomplete history, future, time zone, sports, astronomy, IP lookup. We can look for the IP, current IP as well. And there are certain parameters. And the base URL will be https API weather api.com/v1. This will be going to use whenever we'll be going to configure or set up a name credentials in our Salesforce org. And if we just want to test it, let's see how it is going to look like whenever we make a request. So let me copy my API key. That's my API key. And this API key I'm going to pass here for testing purpose. And I just want to get the weather for Mumbai. And when I say show response, I'll get the response. As you can see, along with that, we'll be getting the icon also. So if you see this icon, CDN weather app, this PNG, and if we try to explore this weather app, this is the weather. As you can see, this is the app. This is the icon. So actually in my Lightning Web component, I will be going to display the icon and the text, the moderate or heavy rain with the thunder. So this is what my requirement. So if you want to display the temperature, so we have an option to display current temperature in degrees centigrade or in Fahrenheit. That also we can do that, but I'm very much interested in the text and the icon. So in order to do this, what we have to do, we have to start beginning by setting up the named credentials. So let's see how do we do that. So the very first step is I'll just switch to my Salesforce org. I just open my Salesforce org and look for named credentials. And in named credentials, we click on external credential first. And the purpose of the purpose of creating name credential is that we do not have to authorize our org every time. We don't have to set up an authorization every time. We'll set it up once and we can reuse it multiple times. So I click on new and I will be going to create a name credential. Let's suppose I labeled it as weather API. That's my name credential. That's the external name credential, and the authorization protocol will be custom. I set it as custom here. Click on save. Step number one. Step number two, we need to add the custom headers and the principal. So very first, I'm going to set a principal, and then those principal, the key we are going to set in the principal, that will be going to use within the custom header. So then I click on principal, new, the parameter name, let's say sysadmin. Identity type will be named principal and authentication parameter. So for authentication parameter, I set as key, and here we have to pass the key. So what key here we have to pass? This key, we have to pass the API key of our weather API. So this key I'm going to pass here. We can just validate the key. Is it correct or not? Yes, correct. Click on save. Got it? Now, once we set up the principal, now it's time to set up the custom header, because in custom header, we'll be going to use the name credentials and this principal. So I click on new, and here I need to add the name of my principal, name of my custom header. So the custom header name, as I said, as key, and the value I'm going to set here is the value will be the value I'm going to set here is exclamation sign dollar credential dot. Now here we have to specify the external credential we have created. So the external credential name, the external credential we created, that is the weather API. So this I will be going to use and will be going to provide in our custom header. So let me set a key again, exclamation sign dollar credential dot key. And this key is what we'll be getting from this key is what we'll be fetching from the named principal, from the principal one, and curly bracket close. Sequence will be one, save this. So we have successfully created the principal and the custom header, as you can see. And now after this, what we have to do, once we set up the named principal and this, now it's time to set up the actual name credential. So this external credential will be going to use in the name credential. So I click on new, and the name credential I named as weather API name, weather API name. And this I will be going to, we need to remember this because this is the name credential which we'll be going to call from our Apex controller class. Now here we have to pass the URL, and the URL which the URL we will be going to set here. This will be the base URL which we need to provide here. But don't forget to add the HTTPS, because it is not going to accept the HTTP only for the security reason. So we have to specify HTTPS. The external credentials, the weather app API, the external credentials which we configured, certificate. I'll leave it as it is. I don't want to pass any certificate. Next is we have to allow formula in the HTTP header. What exactly this means? Use credential field as a formula field in the name credential. And we have added a credential field, and this is to authorization header. So we are not authorizing anything, but we would like to allow the credential field as a formula field in name credential, custom header, external credential, custom header, and Apex. So if you remember, in the external credential, we have added the custom header. So, and the custom header, there's a formula we have set. So that formula will be going to use, and rest of the things will be fine. And finally, simply click on save. So as you can see, we have successfully created a name credential. Now let's begin the actual implementation. And in order to do this, I will switch back to my Visual Studio Code, and in Visual Studio Code, we will be going to create a new Apex controller class. So let's check it out. So there's one Apex class, LWC Apex class, CLS. I can use this one only, or else if you want, we can add a new separate class. So let's suppose I'm going to create a new Apex class name as, let's say LWC Apex. That's the class name. LWC Apex, that's my class name. And in this class, I'm going to create a function. So at the rate aura enabled public static string, and the function name will be get current weather. And as a parameter, I will be going to pass city. Next, we need to make HTTP callouts. So in order to do that, we just write HTTP request req is equal to new HTTP request, and we have to set the endpoint. So end set end point. Now, the interesting thing is we do not have to send the endpoint the way we have done in the previous examples. We don't have to pass the complete API. We don't have to pass the complete URL. This time here, I'm going to use the named credential we have created. So the named credential we created with whether API name. So this name credential I will be going to pass over here. So how do we call that? Call out colon whether API name credential, and the complete URL will be in order to fetch the complete URL. The complete URL will be here it is current JSON. So I copy that and paste it here. Named slash slash uh, current JSON current JSON. We have to pass city as a parameter. Q is equal to plus city. We just pass city as a parameter, and whenever okay, and the method will be request dot set method. It will be get method. Then we need to wait for the response. So HTTP response res is equal to new HTTP response, and then I write that should be res, not req. It should not be same. So I just write response is equal to before that one more thing, HTTP is equal to new HTTP, and now we are going to make a call. So I just write res is equal to HTTP dot send req, and once we fetch the response, I'm going to return. So I just write return res dot get body. So whatever is the response, from that response, I would like to fetch the body. So if I'll just show you back here, when we make a response, we will be interested in the body. So body means this response body. So this body, and from this body, we need to fetch the details. We'll be going to fetch the details from this body. So our Apex class will be ready. This is my Apex class. Let me save this and let me deploy this Apex class on my Salesforce org. So as you can see, I have deployed this. Okay, it's failed to deploy. Let's see what's the problem, what's the error. Let's try to solve that. Illegal assignment HTTP response to system. HTTP response is equal to new HTTP response. And that should be RES, not RE. Save that and deploy. So as you can see, my Apex class deployed successfully. Now let's design our component. So I'm going to create a new Lightning Web component in order to display the weather. So I say create Lightning Web component, and I just write current weather LWC. And this component, I'm going to display this component on app homepage. So I set this to true, and we set the targets for that. So target Lightning app page and Lightning homepage. So I set the targets. Now let's design our components. So this is the HTML, and in this HTML, I just set Lightning card, and the JS, in JS, I can use a track decorator. And the very first step is we need to call this function. As you know that in order to access this function, Apex class function from the JavaScript controller, what we have to do, we have to import this Apex class along with the function. So how do we do that? Import function name, that's the function name, from Salesforce slash Apex slash LWC Apex dot function name. So we made a call to this function. Now it's time to design our component. So I just wanted to get an input from user as a city, and that city information we are going to pass. So I just write city is equal to blank, and city is equal to blank. So city is equal to blank, and I need to declare two more properties in order to display weather icon and weather text. So I just declare two more properties. Now the very first step is I need to get an input from the user. So I just write division class is equal to sldsm hyphen around underscore medium, and I need to get an input. So lightning input label is equal to enter city, placeholder is equal to enter city to check weather, value is equal to, value means it's a property. So this is value is the current city is going to map to the city. And whenever it changes the value, whenever we enter a new city, we have to track that value. So on change is equal to city change handler. And this city change handler, we will be going to declare here the city change handler event. And I just write city is equal to event dot target dot value. Event dot target dot value. Now, once user enter, we need to get, I just, once user enter the value, once user enter what we want, we need to give a button so that the user can click on a button and check the details. So I'm going to add it inside another division and lightning button. Label is equal to check weather. On click, on click is equal to change handler, change handler. And this change handler, we will be going to declare here. This change handler, I define this change handler here. This event is not needed actually. This now, whenever user enter a value, we would like to fetch the data. Let's do one thing. Let's save this much and see how this looks like. So as you can see, this deployed successfully. So now let me switch to the Salesforce org. Here it is. And let me open the sales application. Let me switch to my sales application. And edit page. And the component name is current weather LWC, which I will be going to display here. I just drag and drop this component current weather LWC, and we will be getting the component. So we can design this component now. Just in case if I enter a name here, it said let's suppose I enter the city name as Delhi and click on check weather. So it should call that API. It should call the Apex class, and we have to pass the parameter. And that Apex class will call the API, and the response will be made by the API, and will need to display the current, not the current weather, but the icon for the current weather and the text that we need to display here. So in order to do that, let's get back to our component. So let's get back to the Visual Studio Code and customize that. So in order to display the detail, but before that, we have to call this function. So how do we call that function? Get current weather. And this get current weather, we have to pass parameter. As you can see, this current weather takes a parameter. So I'm just going to pass a city as a parameter, city colon city, this dot city, and dot then result. It is going to either it is going to return the result or it is going to return the error. So dot then result is equal to, let's create a new variable here, new weather data is equal to, because the response will be in JSON. So as you can see, when we call this response will be in a JSON format. This is in a JSON format. So we have to pass this JSON. And in order to do that, I will be using JSON dot pass result. I'm passing the JSON weather data and weather icon. So weather icon is equal to weather data dot. Now, as you can see, whenever we see the response, so we'll be interested in the icon, and this icon exists in the condition. This condition exists in the current, and this current exists inside the weather data. So I just write here weather data dot current, weather data dot current dot condition, condition, and from condition we will be fetching the icon dot icon. And in same manner, weather text is equal to weather data dot current dot condition, condition, dot text. If we want to fetch more information like the temperature in centigrade or temperature, so we can fetch that also. Current temperature, current temperature, and how do we do that? Current temperature is equal to weather data dot current, weather data dot current dot temp underscore c. So weather data dot current dot temp underscore c dot temp underscore c. This is the information, because if you see this, whether inside the current we have the temp underscore c, and from the condition we fetch the text and the icon. But now for the temperature, for the current temperature, I use temp underscore c, and that information we store into current temperature. And if any error occurs, so we can simply say console.log error occurred. Error occur. So as you can see, we have successfully created our component, but where to display the result, the responses, because we have called the function, but in order to display the response, so I'm just going to add another division inside this, and there I will be going to display that. So inside the lightning card, I add another division, and I need to display the current weather icon. So in order to display the weather icon, img src is equal to, I need to display the weather icon. So for weather icon, we have weather icon property, weather icon. And along with that, I just want to display the text. I just want to display text. And in order to display text, this should be close here, slash img slash img slash division. And in order to display the current temperature, I just write current temperature. And for current temperature, I will be using this property, current temperature. Let's save this and deploy this one more time. And yes, I forgot to display the weather text. So I'm going to display the weather text just after this image. Weather text. So it will display that how the weather it is, whether it is cloudy or whether it is foggy or it is rainy, what type of weather it is. It will display the image and the text along with that. So it has been deployed successfully. Now let's verify this. So in order to test it, I'll get back to my Salesforce org, refresh this, and we will be validate this. We'll be going to validate this. Let's test it. So let me run one more time. It says hyphen division. Let me see what I have done wrong. This division we end here. This division end here. Current temperature. Okay, this division is not needed actually. That was an extra division which was not needed. It's already closed. So that division was not needed. It was an extra tag. Yeah. So I have removed that tag now, and let's refresh it. Now let's make a API call, and I just enter city name as Delhi and check whether. So as you can see, it's working perfectly fine now. And when I enter a city, I just write here, let's say Bangalore, and click on check weather. I'm getting an see. I can see a symbol, the text partially clouded, and the current weather will be 28. And in same manner, if I just write here New Delhi, and click on check weather. So again, it's a partially cloudy and 28. And if I just change this to Mumbai and click on check weather, it's moderate or heavy rain with the thunder, and the current weather will be 31. So that's the way we can run the operation. That's the way we can make API calls using LWC component in order to access the current weather and display in the form of a image and the text. So that's all in this video. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this. If you require any customized training on Salesforce, you can reach out to us on the given number. You can visit our website for more details. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.